Hello again, everyone. This is Marco from everycoppercounts.blogspot.com, Diablo3GoldGuide.net, and GuildWars2TradingPost.com. For all three games, Guild Wars 2, Diablo 3, and World of Warcraft, there's a simple set of steps that I take to show people how to make gold in all three games. Every single one of them begins with a surefire method that follows these three principles to earning you money or gold or whatever it is. It has to be easy, repeatable, and very low risk. The reason for this is just human nature. Even if you see me making thousands of gold every single day and you say, wow, he really knows what he's doing, or in Diablo 3 you see me selling tons and tons of items and you see my list of sales each day for gold and real money, even though you see that, even though you know I know how to play the markets, if I show you how to do something and you're not successful from day one, you will leave. It's just the way it works. So what I've learned to do is create very simple to follow steps that follow these three things. They got to be easy, right? You got to be able to look at it and say, oh yeah, that makes sense. I can try that. They got to be repeatable, meaning if you try Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it's going to work every single day, every month of the year with very few exceptions. And finally, it's got to be low risk, which also means high return. So you put a copper in, you get 10 copper back, okay? And it needs to be that easy, repeatable task that anyone can do. Very similar to farming in a game, where you just do something mindless over and over again and you get your money back. Many of the strategies are kind of mindless, but they're guaranteed money. And what I'm going to show you today are three different strategies, one for each game, that is pretty much guaranteed money to help you guys out. And that's how I build my websites, my guides, my blogs, is I have these tried and true, rock solid strategies, because if I didn't have those, the first time you try something that I tell you, if it doesn't work, you are leaving. You are never coming back. By having these strategies, even if you're making pennies, it really doesn't matter. As long as you get something back consistently, then you will say, okay, let me try some riskier stuff. And then you'll have the stomach for a loss. So if you try like my rune forging in Guild Wars 2, that's not guaranteed money. It's good money when it works, but you got to have the stomach to ride up and down with some bad breaks. If that was my #1 strategy that I told everyone from day one, they wouldn't stay with my website. So I think you get the idea. Let's talk about strategy for each game. Let's start with Guild Wars 2. Guild Wars 2, flipping is the big money maker. But it's not just flipping the 1 copper investments that I talked about where you can flip like thousands of them at once. That's too much for a starting player. It's flipping armor of all levels, but not level 80, okay? Not max level armor. For Guild Wars 2, level 1 to 35, and 35 is when the rares come in, 1 to 35 armor. Fine, masterwork, rare, you got to check them off. You crawl through, that's what I call it when you start searching level by level, item type by item type, looking for good markets to play with. You flip armor in Guild Wars 2, you will make a substantial amount of money. But there are some caveats. Don't buy a ton of it. I do buy a ton of it, but I'm willing to take risks with it. I understand how much money I'm losing when I cancel auctions. When you're canceling like 200 wristbands, you have to understand how much money you're losing doing that and how much you're going to make when you repost and then cancel and then repost again, with smaller and smaller amounts as they sell off. You need to grasp that. If you're not there yet, which you probably aren't, there's nothing wrong with that. What you do is you buy 3 to 5 of them and you sell 1 to 2 at a time. When they're sold, go post more. If they don't sell, cancel, understanding that you're losing 5%, right? You're losing your 5% investment every time you post. When you make a sale, you lose 10% as well of whatever sold. So you need to understand that. And so when you flip the armor, make sure that you're gearing up for like a 200% profit. Because if you cancel, let's say 3 times to get the item to sell, which it probably won't take that much, maybe 1 or 2 times. If you cancel 1 or 2 times, you've lost 30% right there. Okay? And that's not the exact math, because when it sells, it's 15% of what was left, not the 200%. But besides that point, when you take off that 30% from the 200, it's not that much, okay? Having those canceled auctions. So you basically don't even have to worry about it. as long as you're not spamming that cancel button. So that's for Guild Wars 2. That's what I recommend for everyone to get them started, is armor. Placing buy orders on like 100 different pieces of just 3 to 5. You're only buying them for either copper or a couple silver, and then you're flipping them for 4 or 5 silver sometimes. Just huge amounts of profit guaranteed to come at you eventually. They all eventually sell. Everybody needs the leveling gear. And I've actually found that in most games there are more people leveling than playing the max level. That's just the way it is. People like the leveling experience. Okay, so that's Guild Wars 2. Let's do, hopefully I leave enough space on the board. Let's do WoW. In WoW, I find that disenchanting is really good money. It's not as guaranteed as again, flipping. But this time, it's flipping items that are posted at the minimum price. In WoW, even if you don't have add-ons, you can try to flip by taking crafting materials, or let's say like stone, and then you sort by the bid price, like the buyout or bid price or whatever, and you look for the cheapest items that don't have buyouts, and you put bids on them. Now, if you have something like Auctioneer, you actually know what they're worth, and you're scanning every day, and this is a more methodical process. But if you're new to the game, you don't have any add-ons, and you don't have time yet to learn them, what you do is you flip the minimum, so 1 silver auctions. And once you bid low, then you sell normal. Now what that means, excuse me, I got a cold, I'm going to be sniffing. You bid low, meaning you buy it for like a silver or 2 or 3 silver, and then you sell normal, meaning you don't sell right at the top of the market. You sell somewhere in the middle. So if I bought, I don't know, some fish for a silver, or some rough stone for a silver, a stack of it, 18 rough stone for silver, I go and maybe they sell for 4 gold. I'm going to sell them for like 2 or 3 gold. I'm already making a massive profit. There's no reason to be greedy here. And that actually causes it to sell very quickly. And I mentioned in another video, you want a bid price that's lower than your buyout. That's still a deal. Still making you money, blah, blah, blah. The idea is that this is another method that is easy, repeatable, and very low risk. Okay, let's do Diablo 3. Low-level farming. Everybody wants to farm in Diablo 3. Unfortunately, they go to level 60 content in Inferno, and they waste a bunch of money on repair bills. And there's no guarantee of finding anything valuable. The chance of finding something valuable when you farm with a max magic find, that's the key. Max magic find is pretty good. I mean, most times I'll find a legendary farming the low-level areas. Now, you want to farm pre-level 42 areas, because once you get into reduced level requirements, you're kind of screwed. And those are dropping at much higher levels than the easier content. So, like Act 3 normal, Act 4 normal maybe, okay? And you do Act 3 normal, Act 2 normal, Act 1 normal. When you do Act 1 normal, the lowest level gear, like the level 0 stuff, is really valuable, and there's none of it. And when you're running around with a max magic find character, you find tons of the great gear with 6 stats, because magic find helps how many stats you find. That's guaranteed money because there's so little competition. You find something with vitality and a primary stat, or a weapon with a gem socket, and bam, you have a 50,000 to 250,000 item, and if it's really good, a couple million gold, or even like $1.50, $2 item. You find a legendary low-level leveling item, it could be worth like $3, $4, okay? Especially an amulet, like the Squirtle's necklace, or whatever it's called. Squirt's necklace, sorry, Squirtle. Yeah, so you get max magic find. That's very easy to do. And you can follow the strategies I've done in my gold guide to get max magic find. You just buy a bunch of crap at level 50 to 60 that has a lot of magic find on it and a primary stat, so you're still doing a lot of damage. And then you get builds and stuff that deal auto damage all around you, or like you get the boots that put fire on the ground and that kind of stuff. So these are 3 very simple strategies that anyone can do. They're easy, they're repeatable, they're very low risk, and very high return. I really should have a 4th one there. But this is Marco signing off for Guild Wars 2 TradingPost.com. everycoppercounts.blogspot.com. It's new, so I still got to think about it. And Diablo3goldguide.net. I hope that this has helped you, especially if you're new. If you're not new and you've already got these down, I hope that you are willing to revisit them, try some new things out, and start to expand your mind to find new markets that you haven't tried yet based on these principles. All right, everyone, this is Marco signing off. Good luck and have fun.